Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Magic or Tragic Magic fans. The Magic have lost 3 in a row, and it hasn't been that magical for the Magic, but it's been difficult, obviously, with all the injuries going on. It's been hard just to, put a full lineup out there, but to the Magic's credit, I think they've shown some effort. They've tried to compete the best they can with who they've had, and we've actually seen some pretty nice individual performances from a few players. The injuries, the first injury that really hit us was Jonathan Isaac, but his injury may have been a blessing in disguise. It's given a chance for our management team and our head coach to look at the players and try to get a real good evaluation of who is going to stay or who is going to go, or possibly who could end up in any trade talks. And I was thinking about trades and possibly the potential of which players on our team would garner the most talk, or would gain the most talk. And I feel that obviously Vucevic is that player. But before I get to Vucevic, I have to say the losing that's been going on has really not been frustrating me as much as I thought. And I think it's because I'm torn between the potential of what this team healthy would be versus another good lotto pick. Because I think there's some decent players coming out next year, and if you have the right pick, you may be able to get one. But what I mean by that is, if everybody was healthy, including Jonathan Isaac, right, and we played out the season, what record would we finish with? What kind of team would we be? But more so, what would be the ceiling of that team? Now, as Magic fans, it's possible if everyone is healthy, the rest of the year, this team could make the playoffs. But what seed would it be? And realistically, how good of a team would we be to feel like we actually had a shot of doing anything in the playoffs? And I'm kind of torn about the end result if that were to happen for the Magic. Again, it would be nice to see us make the playoffs, but you're getting a later pick, and to be honest, that's not going to help the team. And I don't know if we have the assets right now to acquire great talent, which we need through trades or free agency. So the fact that we're losing, when we lose a game, I'm like, hey, we're closer to another lotto pick and a player with this new regime that we may draft could really pay dividends for us, And if we win, then I'm happy we win. So it's a win-win for me, and that's really why I haven't been stressed out over these losses. But again, what do you guys think? Like, the potential of this team and what it could do, would you rather see that this year if the team was healthy versus, hey, we are what we are. We're going to lose some games. We've got injuries. We may not have the players that we need to win games right now or fit the system that we want. So then we end up with a lotto pick. Like, what do you prefer right now if you're listening to this podcast? All right. But back to Vucie. Like, I want to say this about Vucevic. I like Vucevic. I really do. His deficiencies, and most of it is defensively, but he competes. He does compete. And he's been doing it for a long time with the Magic. And I dare say his numbers, if he keeps this up, are borderline all-star again. And that's the second time that he'd be putting up numbers like that for a team that hasn't been successful. He's a very talented offensive player. And I was thinking about, should the Magic trade Vucevic or should we keep him? And I'm kind of torn on that because, if you heard my Oladipo podcast when I talked about why he was traded, it's because I thought at the best time he was our best player and other teams knew that. But right now, if you're looking at the Magic and if the Magic are talking trades and you're looking at our roster, obviously Aaron Gordon, but I don't think he's touchable. I think Vucevic is the guy players or teams are looking at. But I also think when dealing with the Magic, I think teams, when trying to make trades with us, are trying to maybe ask for more. Like, I think they think we're desperate. And I think maybe that's another reason why you haven't seen a lot of trades with the Magic. And we shouldn't be desperate. We shouldn't be. Because in my opinion, there are not a lot of players out there on the trade market that I think the Magic should acquire, even if they had a chance to get. Now, there's a few, but again, there's players out there that I like, but are they tradable? So if you're just looking at players who may or may not be on the trade market, if I'm the Magic, I'm not just trading anybody just to make a trade. All right. But there's one team that's interesting to me, and I think I heard a trade rumor regarding Vucevic, and that's Cleveland. I think Vucevic would be interesting in Cleveland because Vucevic would give LeBron James plays off. Not just LeBron, Dwayne Wade. I think that team, they don't have the point guard right now who handles the ball to really take a load off of LeBron and that responsibility, especially come playoff time. The responsibility of LeBron handling the ball is going to increase when that time comes. And I was just thinking, Vucevic will give you plays off, definitely, if you're LeBron in Cleveland. He can carry you for a while offensively. And his defensive efficiencies can be covered up by players like LeBron and other players that are on that team. But I also think, and I'm curious to see what kind of level Vucci would bring his game to if he was playing on a real competitor. Because I think Vucci can and does compete, and he's got some game. He put up a triple-double the other night. He's got some game. So, interesting to see what'll play out, if any, regarding Nikola Vucevic, because I think that's truly our only real tradable asset. But do you trade him? Because he helps this team tremendously. And if a few other positions were different, this team may look totally different with some pieces that's already been added. But realistically, I think it's going to take a few more years for us. I think we need to draft well. All right, definitely. Because other teams are going to probably ask for a king's ransom whenever trading with us, or may ask for draft picks. And we can't afford to give up draft picks. All right. So that's something. And the last thing, I just want to say, it's probably going to be a grind the rest of this season. And it may be a grind next season. That's why I'm talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the games. If I just talked about every loss, the podcast would be real boring. So I'm just talking about something different this podcast. Nothing in general. Hopefully we can break this 4-game losing skid coming up. But if not, I don't think I'm going to feel too bad about it. We're just one pick closer to a good lotto pick, and that would help us. If for some reason we get healthy, our players come back and we start to win games again, then so be it. I think definitely our management has a lot to look at, and I think it's been helpful. The injuries, everything. I think they've been able to see a lot from a lot of different players that we have, and I trust in them right now. So anxious to see what happens going forward. All right, thanks for tuning in, subscribing, liking or disliking, and as always, go Magic.